One, two, three. Harold and Brad, Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad, Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad.
You're listening to the Harold and Brad Windy City Filmmakers podcast. Bonus footage.
Right. Nice. Now it's kind of funny. Like a lot of people, they would know their favorite actors, know their names. They may know some directors. They may not know so much about producers, executive producers. So for those who don't know, what is a line producer and what are some of your responsibilities?
A line producer is kind of what that, like the name. I'm a producer, but I'm the lines of the budget. So I'm really in charge of the budget. So I work with the showrunner, the writer. I do episodic. I've been doing episodic since, I guess, for the past 13 years. So that's really where I got into being a line producer. So we have typically, like for Empire, you've had 8 days. You get a script. You got 8 days to produce it, schedule it, and start filming it. So during that 8 days, we get the script. I go over it with the showrunner and talk about what can we do, what can't we do. For instance, Empire, we would typically have one big dancer or performance piece, and sometimes they write in two. So the question is, well, if you do this one, you could make this other one a little smaller, and you try to find compromises. I want to tell as much of the story that the writer writes, but I also have to be responsible to the studio to keep the numbers where they're at. So that's really what I am. I'm balancing the storytelling and the actual dollars that the studio wants to do it for.
Right. But how long, like for example, like a episode of Empire, how long would that take to shoot? Like how many days? How many weeks?
8 days.
8 days.
8 days to film. 8 days to prep and 8 days to film. It was really crazy. That right. Show was like a show and a half, because each episode has this huge dance performance.
Right. Right.
And so that means there's songs. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 songs in it, but there's usually one big performance. And that performance itself, you have to find dancers. You have to choreograph it. You have to then you have to light what's being choreographed. So all this rehearsal happening behind the song. You have to pre-record the song. Sometimes they do it live, but you can't always do it live, because typically during that performance, there's some type of narrative. People are talking. So, during the performance, there might be dialogue, storytelling. So you got to keep the narrative going as well. 8 days of prep was really crazy on Empire. And, after the first season, we muddled through. It was, it happened really quick. But after season 1, it aired and it blew up. Crazy, obviously. And by the finale, I think there was like 17 million people watched the finale of season 1. So when season 2 came, the creative wanted to, make it even more, just more performances, and just a larger than life. And that made it really difficult. And now, as I told you, how as a line producer, you're juggling what's the story and how much. Season 2 was really tough, because we never stayed within the budget. Okay. It was always over. Literally every episode was over by about 180,000. That's the way it was. And so, we had to, figure out how do we do it? And the reality was we had to afford, first of all, we were really burning people out because, to get a show like that done or prepped in 8 days, you're working crazy hours, and then filming it, it was crazy as well. So we had to increase the budget a bit and increase the number of people that were part of the coordination of the music and the choreography and the lighting. And then we also, what we did, which helped, was we built a performance set, a stage.
Okay.
Season 2, every episode, we had a different performance, and we were going on location. And when you go on location, you have to bring the circus. You have to, scout the place, find the place, and then bring these lighting. This isn't just, we're not just shooting scenes. We're shooting like a concert. So we have these big PRG lights that we have to rig and then take them down. And it's very costly. So by season 3, we built a performance set that was just phenomenal. And it made life a lot easier because when you're having 300 background and you're doing choreography, it's all happening at the stage. And when you're on a stage, you can control a lot more of what's going on. So that helped.
Man, it sounded like a monstrous undertaking, to say the least.
It was a roller coaster ride from the pilot to the very end. And honestly, there were many times we were like, oh my God, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? But we always made it. Right. And the thing that shut us down was COVID.
Oh, right.
We didn't shoot a finale.
Right.
Because we got shut down.
I forgot about that. Yeah, right.
We had this amazing finale. Season 6 was like, we went into season 6 going, this is it. We're done. We're going to go off on our own terms. And so we had all these things going on leading up. Oh my God, a car blew up. Who's in the car? I think Cookie's in the car. Wait, no, Lucius is in the car. So all these things were happening. And it was all going to be revealed in the finale, which was supposed to be huge. We started prep during the prep of the finale. Was March 13th, shut down. Oh, we'll be shut down for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. We're not sure. Leave everything up, and then the rest is history. So unfortunately, for me personally, and probably for most of the fans of the show, it was not the most satisfying ending because we never got to tell the ending of the story, the epilogue, which was, anyways, such is life.
Man. It's kind of funny. I was looking at this old interview with the late, great John Singleton, and he was talking about how, he was a PA back in the day on the Pee Wee Herman show. Yeah. He's saying he was on set talking to Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne had a recurring role. And Lawrence Fishburne got up and said, I'm going to get some coffee. You want something? And John Singleton said whatever he said, but he said that stuck with him because he was this great actor and he was so down to earth. And they formed this relationship. So years later, when John Singleton got ready to shoot his first movie, the first person he called was Lawrence Fishburne, right? How important are those type of relationships, those people you work with over and over again over the years? How important are those type of relationships in this business?
It's huge. It's a luxury to have that type of, hold on here, I lost you. There you go, sorry. It's huge. And it doesn't happen a lot because we're all freelance. We all go from job to job. If you have a chance to work with someone over and over again, first of all, it's very lucky because ultimately when a job's over, we all go home and we're all looking for jobs. And I may find something, but I have a cinematographer that I'd love to work with. This guy, Jody Williams, who used to get on the show because he's from Chicago. Well, he's from Cleveland, but Chicago's his home. Good stuff. But he was a DP on Empire, and he's now on Force with me. And I've worked with him over the years, and it's a great relationship. But they don't happen a lot because you're searching for a job and you can't always you don't always line up to work with someone over and over again. There's an AD that I work with, a guy named Jim Giovanetti, he was an AD for John Hughes way back when I was still in high school, and he's an AD on this job, and I've worked with him for 20 years. But we work with them, and then they go off different directions. And then we come back. Being in Chicago, there's a better chance of working with people over and over again because it is a small community. But it's a luxury to have that type of relationship. It's not easy in this freelance world where it's it's dog eat dog world.
Right. Like I hear that, and then I kind of grew to appreciate how like Martin Scorsese is one of my favorite directors. How he works with Thelma Schumacher like over and over again. You know what?
When you're that guy,
it's a lot easier.
Right. I mean, most of us are not that guy. I mean, I'm here in Chicago, and when I choose, I don't choose projects. Projects choose me. Right. If I get a call, it's like, yeah, I'm in, because being in Chicago, there's not tons of opportunity. Right. You don't get to pick and choose. There's a lot of people over the years that come up in Chicago. They end up leaving because opportunity. Right. To move up. I was moved up. I was a first AD. You mentioned Early Edition. That was the late 90s. I was the first AD on that. That's a first assistant director. It's a DGA position. It's a great position. But then things slowed down. And I know a lot of the other first ADs in town, they left. They went to LA because there wasn't any, it was drying up here. I had a family, 2 kids, and I was not leaving. So I went back to, I was second AD. And that's what I did on Barbershop 2. So it's challenging to stay here in Chicago and continue to move up. You have to, those opportunities, there weren't a lot of them. However, now with the tax incentive in 2010 or 2009, when the Sunset Clause was lifted, and there was an influx of episodic television. So now there's a large amount of episodic television being produced. So there's a much greater opportunity for people to move up today than there were 20 years ago.
What advice would you give a young person looking to become a producer, a line producer, looking to follow in your footsteps? What advice would you give them?
Well, I would say never say no to a job, paying or unpaying, because really, you're a door-to-door salesman of yourself, and work breeds work. So, when I started in Los Angeles, I was doing jobs. It was for free, for a couple of days. But then I met people on that job, and they, in the future gave me paying jobs. So it's really just get out there. If you want to be a writer, write. Even if you're a PA, you write. If you want to be a director, direct. And now with iPhones, anyone can go out there and shoot pictures. If you want to be a cinematographer, do it. Do exactly what you want to do. You might not get paid at first. Obviously, you have to pay your rent or your food. So what's great about Chicago is that there is opportunity now. There's a lot of episodic going on, and because of the new formats, platforms such as streaming, and all the different channels that need product. There's a lot more opportunity here in the city, and CineSpace is has a lot of stuff going on there. Internship programs as well as employment. And there's other studios opening up as well. I mean, it's this industry is healthy. When the pandemic hurt a lot of industries, entertainment, they turned to entertainment, streaming, movies. So there is a healthy amount of jobs out there. So you just Just keep knocking on the doors. It's hard. It's hard. It's even hard to, I mean, I've been doing this since 88, so over 30 years. And it's, you know, it's not easy. It's crazy. You know, I remember when I was a second AD at, you know, I'm trying to get a job and, you know, I don't know when if it's show going to get greenlit. I'm not sure if it's going to get greenlit. You know, I have no control over it. I'm just, you know, I just got to keep knocking on the doors and calling people. It's the same thing what I do now as a producer. I'm still knocking on doors and I'm just talking to different people. So that part of the industry of the job search never ends. So it's just like being an actor. You go on auditions over and over again. Nah, he's too tall. He's too short. He's too old. He's too young. But if you have the passion to do it, it's incredibly rewarding. You may not, you know, you might, if you're looking to make money, maybe go into real estate. I wouldn't say if you're looking to make money, I wouldn't go into this business. But if you have a passion for it, it's very gratifying. And, you know, you go to bed after working 17 hours, and it's, you know, you feel like you've done something.
Nice. I love that. Very inspirational. Hey, well, thanks so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. You know, it's a pleasure. I'm honored to be on the show. You guys have a lot of great people on it. So anytime, I love to talk.
Fantastic. So as always, until next time, for Brad Stevens, Harold Dennis, as always, dream big, dare to be great. We out here. Peace.
Have a great day. Peace.
Oh la la. Yeah.